Salutations. So, dig this. I've been planning on making a Bushido video because there's this book me and Fuzz used to read all the time called Already Dead by the dude who wrote Trainspotting, Irvin Welsh. But it's about like this guy who thinks he's died already, several times in fact. And each time he dies, he enters a new reality. So it's like he didn't die there. So he died in another place, and then you come into a world where you didn't die and you just continue to go on. So like he's had all these tragic events, near-death experiences that basically, in his mind, they're not near death. He dies, crosses the threshold, continues on, and instead of being reborn, he's just continuing his life in a different place. So towards the end of the book, or really at the beginning, because you start the book off in this mindset that killing somebody doesn't have as big of a repercussion as you might worry, like snuffing somebody's soul out of existence. You deny them access to this reality, whichever reality you kill them in, but there's an infinite number of other realities that they'll continue to experience themselves in. The reason it's called Already Dead and the whole Bushido thing is that's a samurai state that you would get in so that you wouldn't fear battle. You wouldn't fear death in battle because you had already accepted death. I think in a video earlier I was talking about getting ready for a trip and going through all the bad stuff, like go through the bad trip, like ego death prior to trip, so you don't gotta worry about dissolving ego to reach higher geometries. Okay, so this already dead state was adopted by me and Fuzz because from like 16 on we were like drug addicts, and not in the sense where we were like had shitty lives and we wanted to hide. We actually had really good chill childhood, great parents, a town. We lived in small towns where there's not a lot to do, so it's a kind of a reason why drugs came up big around here. But there is a lot to do. But it was like hunting, and it was stuff that was kind of like, anyway, we were drug addicts from a young age. And with all the acid, heroin, and all this stuff, it was like, we just viewed it the way I still view it, as like drugs are tools that alter your consciousness. The problem was we were children learning how to use fucking, I'd hate to say alien technology, but let's just say like high tech. So when you're a kid working with high technology, you get I don't know. But the thing about me and Chris, most of the time, this was a struggle for both of us, is that we always felt like we were doing drugs for a different reason than other people. Like when we would hang out, it would be noticeable that what we were after was different than other people, because most people, the drug itself is the goal, and they get it, and then be like, well, I don't know, get more. Keep doing it or something. That's why I fucking hate cocaine and shit like that. And drinking alcohol, or just anything that is well, I smoke pot as a constant, like with like these things, but I hate things that you have. I don't smoke pot to get fucked up though, or well, anyway, getting mixed on topics here. the the goal always was find what the drug had to offer, because each one of them is like a master at something. Um, Especially when you think about how most are extracts of plants, and like these plants have evolved, yes, over time for us to want them, so they give us these psychoactive properties, but the reason we feel the way when we eat them is because that is the way they are. Like, that's their level of consciousness. Like mushrooms. It is a complete open awareness. It's all connected. The mycelia of the mushroom network connects it to all things. And all roots and bugs and anything within that network can communicate with it, and it will help them. That's why when people eat mushrooms, they often feel like they have a guide, or the trip is an experience. Which is why when I eat them now, I rarely get that, because me and the earth are connected. I'm in constant communication with plants, the mycelium consciousness. It's like, that's why I'm digging a hole in my backyard, so that they can grow better. Like, because the whole do what thou wilt thing is like, when you have a thought to do something in the moment, like be here now, you do that. Like, that you're supposed to do that. And the Bushido thing is, you don't fear any action, even if it could kill you, especially when it kills you. This is what you walk into battle with. So the reason it's become prevalent, and the reason it was for the whole drug addict thing, was the amount of times you overdose while doing stuff, where you're pushed to limits that your body can't handle, but your mind strives to reach. It's a dissonance of that, of like living a high spiritual life, where you will destroy your body. You need to be in balance. That's why. Anyway, that's why you take care of yourself first, and then you work a spiritual path. Like, your body is the temple. What you deprive from it, you deprive from all who worship, as in the whole universe. But the reason I'm talking about this is because I've been playing Cyberpunk, and I was going to make a video about that too, and now they've just been overlapping, because spoilers for Cyberpunk, for what I know so far, if you even care, but there's these ideas going on that you copy the mind, kill the body, put the mind somewhere else eternally. Like, this is something I've actually been talking about with my friends lately. Like, the reason we have bodies is the host conscious is a vessel for consciousness. But this is taking what I was saying about idea gods and making them real, where it's a person made eternal, as opposed to the Nuit, Hadit, the Brahman that inhabits each of us, our soul. This is talking about literally the IDGs, okay? And it's using the internet as an example. So it's astral plane stuff is all internet analogies, if you're familiar with any of that. So there's net runners, basically are like people that jack in and run the net, and there's people that have gotten killed by certain programs that copy their conscious mind and upload it to the system. So essentially you have all your memories, but that was you is gone. You're only the idea. The memories you have, which are all subjective, are all tainted by the hormones, drugs, and prejudice you have is all that's left. There's no way to center in on the gray. You are whatever you were at that moment, which is completely antithetical to what this plane of existence is. This is all change, you know? It's a constant flux, in and out, in and out. The only time you suffer is when you fuck with that flow. And so Bushido now has this new double meaning where it's you can choose to die knowing you'll live soullessly. You see what I mean? Which is an interesting notion on like the idea of a zombie, or like golems and shit like that from like ancient texts, where this is talking about preserving a consciousness beyond vessel. Like, it's putting to an abstract. So this consciousness is in the void of the net, okay, in Cyberpunk. One of them so far. There's like this Johnny Silverhand character who is in your head, like a Tyler Durden thing, except for he's completely real. And this is the fucking main kicker of all, because that is my biggest thing I try to get to explain to people, is a super consciousness mingling with your own consciousness, and how when that happens there are several outcomes where you either reject that thing completely and are kind of shooken up over it, or you bring it in so much that you're taken over and are kind of lost in it, or in the my more preferred method, when you both can join and become a higher thing together. Okay? That is, in essence, what I view drug use as. Like, these things are conscious. I grant them access to my consciousness and mingle with them. It's like when you read about magic and they talk about summoning demons and getting them to work for you, that's drugs. That's people. Like summoning a spirit. It's like, I gotta call this dude on the phone. You know what I mean? We're all spirits. Okay? Now, it doesn't mean that there aren't supra consciousness that you can try to call or mingle with. But these levels of communication for these things are kind of like taboo, I guess. But the whole Bushido already dead thing has been coming up so much that I feel like it's been something that I half-ass adopted, and that's why it's being thrown back in my face. Because had I been in that state of mind, like constantly, something I go in and out of this gray, if I wasn't so black and white about everything, I wouldn't be so angry about things, and I wouldn't be so like reactive to the situations, or like compelled for people to hear me. That was my big thing. He can't shut the fuck up. That's why I'm putting these things in videos and other shit, because I am compelled to tell people things, but I also am wholly aware of how annoying it is. I am so sorry, guys. And it's like, I'm such a contrarian that halfway through my conversations with anybody, I adopt their point of view and then get them to turn on that, and then turn on, and like, I would contrarian. Okay, beware, belie his smile. I can't help it. It shit drives me fucking bananas. And then I forget to just fucking let it wash over. Pass through. I have an inescapable urge to point things out, which is why I feel like I'm only supposed to be around certain people at certain times, like at the crossroads. So, as in, are you going left? Are you going right? Are you going straight? Are we turning around? You see what I mean? It's annoying to have that thought constantly when you're trying to move forward. Do I keep going? Do I stop? Do I run out into this ditch and try to get stuck? Like, that's my life. I constantly second guess everything. There is no straight path. I'm constantly Travis here, Travis there. So, at the crossroads, at the crossroads, at the crossroads, at the crossroads. It's almost like I've just been waiting for shit. Like, which I think is where the term endure comes from in all my writings, other than Perdurabo. I shall endure unto the end of that which has no end. Which is why this unconsciousness being eternal, being trapped in things, Soul Reaver, all that shit, has always intrigued me. And now Cyberpunk is putting it into words I can finally communicate to other people. Because my Soul Reaver talk is really fucking wearing thin on a lot of people, I feel like. Even though it's still perfect in so many ways, I'm starting to think Cyberpunk is lending me a fucking hand here. It's part of the fucking update, helping it express itself better. I'm merely a vessel for it. A shitty one at that. But, you know. I am what I am. Anyway, I'm gonna get back to fucking playing this game, I think. Or maybe I'll watch something. I don't know. I'm kind of spiraling. I have, like, just a million fucking things going on right now. And, like, just no ability to finish any of them. I need an editor. I need a computer. And then I could edit my work, my books, like all this writing, and then just edit it down. Or cut it up and destroy it. There's just so much of it. And like dreams journals, man. I think I'm gonna write a couple novels based off my dreams. I don't know. Food for thought.